Consider, for a moment, a time almost impossibly distant 2.8 million years ago. This wasn't just before cities, before agriculture, before even complex tools as we understand them. This was before us, before Homo sapiens walked the earth. Yet, this era, shrouded in deep time, was far from an empty stage. It was a crucible of evolution, a period when our earliest ancestors, still very much alike, were taking their first tentative steps toward something profoundly new. What was daily life like for these beings, these proto-humans, existing on the cusp of a transformative leap? Forget any simplistic images you might hold of grunting, mindless creatures. The archaeological record, painstakingly pieced together from fragments of bone and stone, reveals a story of remarkable ingenuity and adaptability. We're talking about australopithecines specifically, species like Australopithecus anamensis, or early forms of Homo habilis emerging from this very period. Their lives were dictated by the rhythms of the East African savanna, a landscape teeming with both resources and peril. Imagine the relentless sun beating down on vast grasslands, punctuated by acacia trees and riverine forests. This was their world, a world where survival hinged on keen observation and an evolving understanding of their environment. Their days began with the rising sun, not with an alarm clock, but with the immediate demands of hunger and safety. Foraging was paramount. They weren't cultivating crops, of course, but their diet was surprisingly varied, a testament to their opportunistic nature. Evidence from dental wear patterns and isotopic analyses suggests a mix of fruits, leaves, nuts, seeds, and even tubers dug from the earth. Think of the sheer knowledge required to identify edible plants from poisonous ones, to remember fruiting seasons, to understand the subtle cues of the flora around them. This wasn't instinct alone. It was learned behavior, passed down through generations, a form of protocultural transmission. And then there were the tools, simple yet revolutionary. While the sophisticated stone tools we often associate with later Homo erectus were still millions of years away, the earliest evidence of stone tool use, dating back to around 3.3 million years ago, predates even our Homo genus. These were likely opportunistic tools rocks used to crack open bones for marrow, or sharp flakes to strip meat from carcasses. The cognitive leap required to select a specific stone for a specific purpose, to understand its properties and how it could be used to manipulate the environment, was monumental. It speaks to a nascent problem-solving ability, a capacity for forethought that set them apart. This wasn't just picking up a stick, it was the dawn of technology. However rudimentary, their lives were not solitary. Fossil evidence of multiple individuals found together suggests some form of social grouping, likely for protection against predators and for more efficient foraging. Picture small bands moving across the savanna, their senses constantly alert. The roars of large carnivores, the rustle of unseen dangers in the tall grass, every sound, every shadow, held significance. Communication, though non-linguistic in our modern sense, would have been sophisticated enough to coordinate activities, to warn of threats, and perhaps to share discoveries of food. This shared existence fostered learning and cooperation, laying the groundwork for the complex social structures that would define us as humans. Their world was brutal, yes, but also vibrant and full of life. It was a world where every sunrise presented a new challenge, and every sunset marked another day survived through wit, adaptation, and the burgeoning strength of their collective. They weren't merely surviving, they were learning. Each successful hunt, each safe night, each shared meal chipped away at the unknown, building a cumulative knowledge base that stretched across generations. We see echoes of this learning in the very landscape they inhabited, the recurring patterns of tool finds at specific locations, sometimes hundreds of miles from the raw material source, point to a sophisticated spatial awareness and perhaps even rudimentary trade networks where valuable stone was exchanged or transported over considerable distances. Imagine the foresight involved in carrying a suitable stone tool across vast stretches of land, anticipating a future need, a future opportunity to butcher a carcass or process a tough plant. This wasn't random. It was strategic. Their understanding of their environment extended beyond just food and tools. The presence of large predator teeth marks on hominin bones, and vice versa, tells a stark story of an ecosystem where humans were both hunter and hunted. They weren't apex predators by any stretch. They were part of a complex food web, often at the mercy of more powerful beasts. This constant threat would have fostered extreme vigilance, a heightened sense of awareness that is still deeply ingrained in our own primate brains. Think about the fear, the quick calculations, the sudden decisions they had to make when confronted by a saber-toothed cat or a pack of hyenas. Survival depended on rapid assessment and collective action. The concept of a home base, while not a fixed dwelling in our modern sense, began to emerge. These were likely favored spots, perhaps sheltered by trees or rock outcrops, where groups would congregate, share food, and process their daily findings. Archaeological evidence of bone accumulations with cut marks, alongside stone flakes, suggests these were places where carcasses were brought, meticulously dismembered, and shared. This communal butchery wasn't just about efficiency. It was a social event, reinforcing group bonds and distributing vital nutrients. The act of sharing, of providing for others within the group, marked a critical step in the development of altruism and reciprocal behaviors that are fundamental to human society. Crucially, this period also saw significant shifts in their biology. The demands of a more varied diet, particularly the inclusion of nutrient-rich meat and marrow, likely fueled the energetic requirements of a developing brain. As their cognitive abilities expanded, so too did the potential for more complex social interactions, more sophisticated problem-solving, and a deeper understanding of their world. This was a feedback loop. Better foraging strategies led to better nutrition, which supported brain growth, which in turn enabled even more effective foraging. It was a slow, incremental dance between environment, behavior, and biology. Their existence was a continuous narrative of adaptation. From navigating unpredictable climates to outsmarting formidable predators. From mastering the use of the simplest tools to forging bonds within their groups. These proto-humans were laying the foundation for everything that would follow. They faced challenges unimaginable to us, yet they persevered, not through brute strength, but through intelligence, cooperation, and an unwavering drive to survive and thrive. Their lives, so distant in time, offer us a profound glimpse into the very origins of our resilience, our inventiveness, and our shared humanity. Their story is our story, etched in the very stones and bones they left behind, waiting for us to uncover and understand. Their existence was a continuous narrative of adaptation. From navigating unpredictable climates to outsmarting formidable predators, from mastering the use of the simplest tools to forging bonds within their groups, these proto-humans were laying the foundation for everything that would follow. They faced challenges unimaginable to us, yet they persevered, not through brute strength, but through intelligence, cooperation, and an unwavering drive to survive and thrive. Their lives, so distant in time, offer us a profound glimpse into the very origins of our resilience, our inventiveness, and our shared humanity. Their story is our story, etched in the very stones and bones they left behind, waiting for us to uncover and understand. They weren't just precursors, they were the initial architects of human potential, demonstrating an incredible capacity to innovate and connect, setting the stage for the remarkable journey that would lead to us.